Scourge of Jin's Lie-Ji, consort of Duke JinXian, Zhou Dynasty. Lie-Ji was a princess of the state of Li-Rong in northwestern China during the spring and autumn period. She came to the state of Jin after being taken as a concubine by Duke JinXian due to the defeat of Li-Rong. Later, after giving birth to a son, Zai-Qi, to Duke JinXian, she wanted to make her son the king, and thus stirred up the political scene of the state of Jin, resulting in unprecedented changes in the court and a political crisis. In the first year of King Hui of the Zhou dynasty 677 BC, Duke Hu of Jin passed away, and his son Jiwuzhu succeeded to the throne as Duke JinXian. And the following year 676 BC was designated as the first year of the reign of Duke Xian. The following year 676 BC was designated Duke JinXian. When Jiwuzhu became the crown prince, he took a wife from Jia, a state in the central plains of China, and then from Di, a state to the west of Jin. He took the beautiful sisters, the Foxes, to be his sisters. The wife of Jia had no children, while the sisters of Fox Ji gave Ji Yuaishu to sons, Chong'er and Yiwu. However, Shen Sheng, the eldest son of Ji Yuaishu, was born of Ji Yuaishu's fornication with Chu Jiang, the concubine of his father, Duke Wu, and a girl, Biao Ji, who was later married to Duke Mu of Qin. When Shen Sheng was 4 years old, Chong'er was 2 years old, and Yi Wu was 1 year old. It was incest for a son to commit adultery with his father's concubine. Still, at that time, as long as the Duke of Jin did not know about it and was not jealous, no one would interfere with Jiwuzhu's incestuous affair with his mother, Qi Jiang. Moreover, Qi Jiang was the daughter of Duke Huan of Qi, and she was a hegemonic state, so Duke Hu of Jin did not dare to do anything to Qi Jiang. Nevertheless, Ji Gizhu placed his illegitimate son with the Shen family to avoid publicity and named him Shen Sheng. When Ji Gizhu became Duke Xian, he took Ji Jiang, his father's concubine, as his queen. To avoid gossip that he had married his concubine mother, Duke Xian moved the capital of the state from Quotajiang present, Defenqing, Shanxi, 100 miles to the north, where Ji Jiang became queen, and Shen Sheng was naturally made crown prince. At that time, Shen Sheng was 23 years old. Although the older man's character could have been better, his sons were successful. Shen Sheng, Chong'er, and Yi Wu, all three of them, had received a strict royal education and became wise sons praised by everyone. Therefore, no matter which one of them succeeded in becoming the king in the future, the state of Jin would be strong with clear politics and muscular power. However, there was a change in the situation. Qi Jiang died of illness in the 4th year after she was crowned queen. In the following year 670 BN, Duke JinXian, a man of great ambition, planned to conquer the foreign tribe of Li-Rong in the west to expand his territory. Before the expedition, Duke Xian ordered Qi, a great physician, to divine the fortune. After thoroughly studying the situation, Qi told Duke Xian, "This is a victory, but not a promising one. After defeating Li-Rong, Jin will be plagued by slanderous rumors. Do you think I will listen to the slanderous words and bring calamity to the state of Jin?" When Qi nodded, Duke Xian said, "Then I will bear this in mind, and will not listen to the slanderous words in the future, but will defeat the Li-Rong first to gain real benefits." Duke Xian of Jin followed his original plan to attack the Li-Rong and win the battle. The king of Li-Rong asked for peace and ceded his land, and gave his to princesses, Li-Ji and Shao-Ji, to Duke Xian as a gesture of submission. History is so strange, and precisely this, Li-Ji caused great trouble to the state of Jin because of her repeated slanders. Li-Ji was 16 years old, and Shao-Ji was 14 years old, nearly 10 years younger than Shen Sheng, Chong'er and Yi Wu. The 3 sons of Duke Xian, so they were between the age of Duke Xian's daughters and granddaughters. However, Duke Xian was still delighted with the 2 sisters and took them into his harem, where they spent all their time with each other and enjoyed each other's company. Because of her beauty and intelligence, Li-Ji was quite favored by Duke Xian, while Shao-Ji, who was in a foreign country and had no family members, worked with her sister to charm Duke Xian to death. In the spring of the 11th year of Duke Xian's reign, 666 BN, Li-Ji gave birth to a son named Zai-Qi, and 7 years later, Shao-Ji also gave birth to a son named Zhou. Since the death of his wife Qi Jiang, Duke JinXian had not appointed any other woman as his wife. After acquiring Li Ji, he wanted to make her his wife. However, he was worried that the court officials would oppose her, because she was of a different race, so he did not issue the order. Now that Li Ji had given birth to a son for Duke Xian, and only 31 years after the birth of Duke Xian's youngest son, Yi Wu, Duke Xian was so happy to have a son that he couldn't hold back any longer, so he made Li Ji his wife. Li Ji was favored in the palace and often took part in political affairs, and now that she had become the Empress, she could legitimately interfere in politics. Under the influence of Li Ji, the land that Jin had seized from Li Rong was returned to Li Rong with interest. However, Li Ji still needed to be satisfied. She had enormous ambition and planned to get rid of the Crown Prince Shen Sheng and make her son Zai Qi the Crown Prince. In this way, the royal family of Jin would be of Lijiang's blood, and the state of Jin would become the state of Lijiang in disguise. One day, when Zai Qi became the king of Jin, and she became the Empress Dowager of Jin, this beautiful dream could be realized step by step. However, Shen Sheng's virtue and filial piety were well known in the country. How could we make Duke Xian abolish his position as the crown prince for a young man with no defects in his character and morals? Besides, after Shen Sheng was removed from the throne, there was still Chang'e and Yi Wu. If Chang'e or Yi Wu, who were wise and capable, became the crown prince, wouldn't things be the same? After much hard thinking, Li Ji realized it was not enough to rely on the two sisters to work together to carry out a coup d'etat. First of all, you have to cultivate your power. With her intelligence, beauty, and the money she could spend at will, Li Ji quickly gathered Chen Zai, Liang Wu, Dong Guanwu, and Yuxi from among the ministers into her gang and discussed the steps to carry out the plan. One day in the summer of the 11th year of Duke JinXian, Liang Wu and Dong Guanwu said to Duke JinXian, "Kuo is the old capital of Jin, and it is also the place of the clan temple of the Jin family. And it is also a militarily important stronghold, which is only 100 miles away from Jiangqing. But Jin has always been negligent of Kuo, and it is poorly guarded. Not only that, but Puqing in the northwest and Qucheng in the west, because of their borders with Du and Qin, are also military strongholds that should not be ignored. And Di and Qing have been coveting these two capitals for a long time, so I hope that your highness will not neglect the defenses of these two places." "Do you two mean you want to garrison at Puqing or Kuo?" Duke Xian asked. "The three places mentioned above are military strongholds, so if we are sent to defend them, I am afraid that the Qin and the kingdoms will despise us because of our small size and insufficient weight. Kuo is the second most important town after the state's capital, so we should send Prince Shen Sheng to guard it, while Pucheng and Qucheng should be guarded by Duke Chang'e and Yi Wu, respectively." When Duke Xian heard this, he ordered Prince Shen Sheng to let the troops to guard Kuo, Chang'e to guard Pucheng, and Yi Wu to guard Qucheng. When Shen Sheng received Duke Xian's order, he objected to his father's decision, saying, as the crown prince is second only to the king, he should always accompany the king to learn the art of ruling the country and to prevent any change in the palace. "Why do you want to send me to do what your subordinates are doing?" Duke Xian said with a displeased face. "Kuo is the place of the Temple of Jin, and its status is second only to the capital of the country. So it should be guarded by the crown prince, who is second only to the king, and you are unwilling to leave the capital city." Shen Sheng had to leave the capital and go south to Kuo. Of course, Chang'e and Yi Wu had nothing to say, so they took up their posts and left the capital for the frontier. With the departure of the three princes, there were few upright people around Duke JinXian, and it became more and more convenient for Li Ji to spread her slanderous rumors. She waited patiently for Prince Shen Sheng, who was full of complaints, to make a mistake so that she could have a chance to make a defamatory speech. However, Prince Shen Sheng, who came to Kuo, did not complain too much and was only dedicated to implementing benevolent policies in Kuo. He also enlarged and raised the wall of Kuo and dug the moat deeper, making Kuo a natural vice capital. Praised and loved by the people of Kuo, who were glad that they had met a good official who loved the people as his son. 2 or 3 years passed, and although Li Ji sent out many detectives, she could not catch Prince Shen Sheng's pigtail. In the winter of the 17th year of Duke Xian's reign, 668 BN, c. Li Ji convinced Duke Xian to send Crown Prince Shensheng to crush the powerful Gaoli clan, a branch of the Red Li clan, which lived in the eastern part of Lipian County, Shanxi Province, to use a sword to get rid of Shensheng. Shensheng was determined to die, but he was able to defeat the enemy by boosting his morale and fighting against them. When this failed, Li Ji tried another trick, saying to Duke Xian, "It has been long since I have seen the Crown Prince. I wonder how he is doing, and how his health is. I miss him." Upon hearing this, Duke JinXian summoned Prince Shensheng back to the capital for a family reunion. Li Ji hosted a banquet for Shensheng and washed the prince's dust, and the conversation was very happy. The next day, Li Ji complained to Duke Xian that Shensheng had acted crazy and molested him at the banquet. Duke Xian asked Li Ji how rude the prince had been. Li Ji replied, "The crown prince said to my concubine, 'My grandfather was old enough to allow my father to have sex with my grandmother Chu Juan, and now that my father is also old, he will surely bequeath several concubine mothers to me.' Li Ji, you and I are of the same age, and we are perfect for each other. And do you know that I often call your name in my dreams? I have always called your name in my dreams." After the prince had finished speaking, he reached out and pulled my hand, but fortunately, I dodged in time, so I didn't lose face. When Duke Xian heard this, Li Ji darted her eyes and said, "If you don't believe my words, tomorrow I will ask the prince to visit the garden with me, and you can hide on the stage and watch secretly. And I want you to see with your own eyes how the prince molested my concubine." Duke Xian of Jin thought trying it would be a good idea. Lixi Ji asked Shensheng to go to the back garden with her the next day. After applying a lot of honey to her hair to attract bees, she pretended to be frightened and asked Shensheng to drive the bees away. Shensheng did not know what to do, so he reached out and waved the bees away. When the Duke of Xian saw the crown prince stroking Li Ji's hair on the stage, he was furious and intended to kill his son, who was an animal. However, Li Ji knelt and pleaded for Shensheng's life, saying, "I summoned the prince to visit the garden with me, but the king wants to kill the prince. If the news spreads, I will be the one who the people blame." The incident of the prince molesting my concubine happened in the harem, so outsiders will not know about it, so please forgive your majesty, and the prince will surely change his ways and do good. Hearing this, Duke Xian was angry and ordered the prince to return to Kuo. After half a year or so, during the high autumn season, Duke JinXian went to the city's outskirts to hunt as he did in the past years. Li Ji sent someone to Kuo to tell the crown prince, "Last night, the king dreamed of Qi Jian, so his son should not forget to pay tribute to his late mother." Prince Shensheng, a filial son, immediately prepared sweet wine and 3 sacrificial animals for the sacrifice. After the sacrifice, as usual, he sent food to the palace for his father's enjoyment as an envoy. When the prince's food was delivered to Jiangqing, Li Ji quietly poisoned the wine and food. When Duke Xian returned to the capital, he heard that the crown prince had sent offerings, so he ordered them to be presented to him and prepared to enjoy them. Li Ji said, "We should try the food sent from outside, and it is always good to be careful." After saying this, she poured some wine from the pot onto the ground, and smoke immediately rose. Duke Xian was shocked. Li Ji also took a piece of meat from the food box and threw it to the hunting dog to eat. And as soon as the dog ate the meat, it immediately rolled all over the ground and wailed and died. Pretending to be angry and sad, Li Ji knelt and cried, "Sooner or later, the state of Jin will be owned by Prince Shensheng. So why are you so hasty and cruel as to murder your father?" Hearing these words, Duke JinXian fueled the flames and immediately sent his men to Kuo to kill the crown prince. The envoy who was ordered to kill the prince knew that Shensheng was wrongly accused, so he intentionally let out a warning to the prince. And when the envoy came to Kuo, Shensheng had already fled to Xinjing. The envoy killed Diyu Wanqian, the prince's teacher, and returned to Beijing to resume his duties. The envoy then killed the prince's teacher, Diyu Wanqian, and returned to Beijing to resume his duties. The crown prince urged Shensheng to go back to Beijing to seek justice from his father, because it had already been 6 days since the wine, and meat had been sent to the palace, and the food would not have remained unchanged for such a long period if it had been poisoned 6 days ago. Shensheng said, "If I tell the truth, My father will blame Li Ji for being unable to eat and sleep well without Li Ji. How can I bear to force my father to do something that will make him unhappy at his age? Like said, then you'd better go far away and flee far away. If I run away to another country, although I can save my life, in time, people will inquire about it, and the truth will be revealed to the world, and then my father will be laughed at by the whole world. And how can I do such an unfilial act? If I don't tell the truth, the whole world will think that I am a beast who tried to kill my father, and what country will accept a beast who kills his father? After JinXian had finished his speech, he went into his room with his head hung down, and on the day of Wushan in the winter of that year, JinXian hanged himself in the new city. When the news of Prince Ji Xinqing's suicide came, the brothers Ji Kong'er and Ji Yiw, who were in Jiangqing, immediately left the capital. Kong'er fled back to Puqing, and Yiw fled back to Kuching. Li Ji told Duke JinXian, Kong'er and Yiw were JinXian's accomplices, and they conspired to poison the king. And now that they have been caught in the crossfire, they have fled in fear of their crimes. The Duke of Xian was furious and sent his men after the brothers, so Kong'er fled from Puqing to Zhou north of Linfen, Shanxi province, and Yiw fled from Qiyu to Liang present-day Hanjing, Shanxi province. Still, the pursuers were all defeated because they were so quick to escape. At the end of 656 BC, the chastened Duke JinXian decreed that Caiqi, the 11-year-old son of Lixi, should be crowned prince. After 10 years of complicated planning, Lixi finally got what she wanted. The prophecy of Xu, the great doctor 16 years ago, was indeed